Well, I'm going to do a few things on the plot today, and one of them is going to be getting the raspberries in and getting the trellis organised. Mrs. K has got a bit of an affection for this area. Now, I didn't think I'd get to this the next winter, and I think probably we'll do some more work on it next winter, but in the meantime, she wants to give it a good tidy up. Good old Mrs. K. There's a lot of rocks in there, as you can see, some stinging nettles, some rather big clumps of grass, which I'll probably pull out for her. There's some wonderful bluebells coming through in here. Otherwise, it's just, as you can see, a bit of a mess. So that's quite exciting. Be great to see that afterwards. I'll show it to you later on. In the meantime, I want to put wires around this. I'm going to work out quite how to do that. But you know, spring is coming round the corner when I start to fill my IBC tanks with water, and that's exactly what I'm doing this morning whilst I'm working, is getting these filled up, ready for the oncoming season. You can see the mess that I've got here. There's a lot to do here. I think before I start the raspberries, I'm just going to have a tidy up and see what I can get done here. I don't want to get in Mrs. K's way. Right, onward. Well, the early morning sunshine is gracing us. So I need to clear all this blue hose, get rid of these broken pieces of raised bed sides, and unscrew these uprights, get rid of all the poles that are sticking out, because I'm not going to use those in the future. And I think I'll probably remove the sides of this bed in preparation for making new sides with what's left of these fantastic poles that I managed to get cheaply. So, big clear up first and go from there, I think. Well, while I'm here and before this climbing rose gets really out of hand, I'm just going to try and weave it into this fence, because that was always the reason that I put it in here, to have this climbing rose climb along this barbed wire fence. So I'm really hopeful that it's going to do that. If I can get it reasonably tied in, then I've got a good chance. Right, I think we'll leave it like that and see how it gets on. And maybe a little bit more weaving for this one, just to hold it in place. There we go. Oop. No, it doesn't want to do that, does it? Try again. There we are, that's better. Get some of this brown out so that it's out of my way. And then I think, now that I've opened that bed up, I'm going to just go around it and get rid of the weed that's around it. I think it'll only take me 10 minutes to cut these poles up and retain that bed. Then I can remove all those rotten sides. Say 10 minutes, perhaps 20, but I'm going to have a go. Okay, my logic here is a bed that's similar size. I've not got quite enough length of pole to do 4 long sides, so one of those sides is going to have to be a bit of an amalgamation of bits, but that's okay. So I'm going to have 2 high in here, and I've just cut these 2 lengths so that they go inside the 2 long lengths, and I'll put one at each end and then bolt all those together, and that'll give me 1 frame, and then I can build the next one on top of that. I've had to dig out quite a lot of couch grass that encroaches from in there, as you know, which I've sort of solved over there but not done anything about here. Well, there's a bit of power washing going on. So I'm going to take these 4 pieces over to somewhere a little bit flatter just to put them together, and then I think I'll rip out these 3 remaining sides and then leave this and get on with the raspberries, because, well, Mrs. K has done a grand job, but she's had to go. So that gives me a chance to get over here and film, because as you know, she's not keen on being on film. But she's done a grand job. She's removed all the dead wood and all the grass that's loose, a whole barrow load. And the next layer in here will be removing all the stones, many of which I've chucked over here from doing the raspberry bed. Okay, I'm looking forward to this bit. Need to get those done quick. Just get that frame done and we're good to go. Well, stop press. I've decided not to carry this over there because when I put it together, it's going to be flipping heavy. So I think I'll put it together just here. See how I get on. Well, that's all the recesses done, and I've done that because these bolts aren't quite long enough, but when I've done a recess, I get a good amount of bite in them. And I'm just going to put a pilot hole down through these because I don't want those bolts to split the wood. Well, it sure is noisy out here, so I'm going to get these assembled double quick so you don't have to endure all the noise. Let's go. Well, that got it in position. I wasn't very happy with the joints down here because the wood's wet. I didn't recess enough, and those bolts, they're not gone in far enough. So I'm going to have those out, and I'm going to put in a couple of these much longer ones which I reclaimed off the sides of the old bed. So I'm just going to swap those over, get it rigid, and then I can get on. Right, it's trellis time. So what I've got is some Grower's Choice plastic coated garden wire, 3mm. It's a 20-meter coil. So I've got 2 of these, and I'm hoping they'll go up the other end, back down here. So I'm going to drill 2 holes in each of these cross pieces at all the ends, and then I'll feed the wire through them and twist it to get a strong fixing. But what I've got to be careful of is I don't pull these over, so it's just a bit of care really. There we are. Let's do another 7 of those. Untangling wire is always a faff, and that was a faff. I've just wound it around the back of this post. It's quite nice and taut. It's only really there for support, and then rather than cut it, I twist it at this end, and I got a bit of excess which I'm going to leave there for now. But I think that's going to do the job nicely. It certainly enabled me to just attach the canes where they want to fall over, and that's the general idea. It gives the whole thing some stability. Well, I'm going to spare you watching me do this one because, as I said, it's a real faff. I'll bring you back when I'm done. There we go. That's a number 2 in. So I've got to that moment. Planting. Well, I'll lay the raspberries out, but the weather's ideal. If you look over there, looks like we're in for a fairly hefty rain shower shortly, which would be absolutely perfect. So, moment of truth. How many have I got? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, and 2 there is 18. 9 per run. And it's tempting to put your best ones in the middle, but in reality the hardest growing conditions are right at the ends, because more prone to drying out with the side of the retaining wall, and up this end less water because of the paving stones. So my philosophy is put the best at the ends and then work into the middle with some of the weaker ones. And I don't know what's what really. Something like that is fairly small, whereas I've got some really hefty groups of canes. Now with raspberries, when you get them bare rooted, you can put them in as individual canes, and that would make that very neat. There's an alternative planting method, which is to put mature raspberries in clumps, and that's what I'm going to do, spread 9 each side. Right, I'm going to lay them out first and then just savour the moment. So I've got 5 left, but to be perfectly honest with you, I think what I've got in there, which is 9 in each bed, is absolutely spot on. Oh, it's looking grand. And I'll just let them sit there for a bit while I bask in the effort. Makes me chuckle a bit, but it does look just as I'd hoped. There's a little bit of tidying around to do, and of course the planting, but yeah, I think it looks great. Good times. Well, there are spots of rain, which is absolutely perfect. I'm going to work myself a leisurely pace up and down these rows, planting these raspberries, and I'm going to enjoy every minute of it. It'll be speeded up for you, but take it for granted, I'm enjoying myself. Right, let's go. Well, I'm going to give these a good watering in before I go home, even though it is starting to rain, just so that they get a good start. Well, I hope you've enjoyed the video today. If you did, then why not like and subscribe? And if you want my notifications every Wednesday and Sunday at 8 PM, then click on the bell. Good times.